Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the freshest format of the most, Avery LR32 here, and destroy the ever-living Fiendsmith ban list. Boo-boo, staying off that like and subscribe button as we climb even higher, the 1500 ladder. I wanted to jump into this and make this as both a ban list report video, you know, like an actual like discussion video, no tier list or nothing like that right after the ban list comes out. But then also talk about what this format's going to look like moving forward now that I've actually done some play testing with this. First of all, Rizal is not as confusing as I was afraid it was going to be. I can't learn small world lines to save my life, but playing a Fiendsmith engine with 3 bonfire, you don't need small world. So thank God for that, because I didn't want to have to take an aspirin after every round trying to learn small world lines. However, with that being said, and this is why I've titled the video as it is with this being $1,000+ format. So, something I've realized with now these ban list hits and the Fiendsmith engine, of course we always knew it was a good engine, but now it's even shining even brighter, if that even makes any sense as a sentence. Sorry, I just woke up not too long ago. But look at how many cards are in this deck. And obviously you see the name Fiendsmith engine layout. This is roughly, including the extra inside and all that, this is roughly what cards you're going to be playing in any competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck moving forward post this brand new ban list. You know, something that this ban list did very well, if in case you didn't realize, is that it's set up for crossover breakers, of course, because Rizal Mallets did really well at the event. But then also it sets up for Supreme Darkness and the Blue Eye structure deck and all that moving forward. However, with that being said, the previous meta decks that we had have now been hit fairly hard. Like, I know in my tier list video I said that Tenpai is tier 2. I'm still sticking by that. I think there might be something there with the Dragon Rulers, maybe upping the number again, Rokus and all that. But now, if you want to be competitive in this new format, and you're playing any kind of deck, whether it's meta, whether it's rogue, if you have space in your deck, you're going to want to play these 20 cards. You know, the 3 engravers, the 3 mulch armies. And the reason why I have these cards in here, the ones that I do, is because whenever you look at any Fiendsmith engine deck, you are seeing some combination of this. Possibly they're playing Paradise, and I put the track in the Agnus Dei in the side because some builds play Agnus Dei, some don't. Some builds play 3 tracks, some play 2. So I'm just putting this here for, you know, semantics sake. And then of course they're just playing the 1 Lacrima. You know, we're not like the OCG where you got to max out on Lacrima because they only have 1 engraver. So you have this engine, right? And for all intents and purposes, we're just going to call the engravers $100. They were 90 to 95 after the YCS, and now they're back up to like over 100. We're just going to call these $100 a piece, right? You're looking at $300. Now, you look at the hand traps, you know, you could make the argument with Avery, I'm not going to play Valor, Ash, whatever. 99.99% of decks, whether they're Rogue, Tier 2, Tier 1, all meta, whatever, you're going to be playing some form of Ash, Valor, and Imperm. However, you're also going to want to play Fualos in whatever deck you're playing, because Fualos is just that good of a card. Even if you're going first, especially in Rizal, it's a level 4. So you could just normal summon the Fualos, activate one of your Rizals. Let's say if you control a level or rank 4 monster on the field, special summon it, special summon one of your Rizals, and then you can make like a rank 4 duo drive or a detonator or whatever. So now you're looking at, let's say $300, right? You can even say $10 for the Lacrima. Right now, Fualos is 120 to 130. So for these, let's call it 6 cards, right? You're looking at over $700. And that's assuming that you already have some of the more basic things like Lacrima, Lurie, the tracks. Even Requiem is like $5 to $8 now. And of course the fusions are pennies on the dollar. Little Knight's like $3, so that's not a big deal. So you're looking at over $700, and you haven't even started building your deck yet. That's not including like any other things that you may need to buy hand trap wise. So for all intents and purposes, 20 cards in your deck, exactly half of your deck is being built for you before you even committed any engine. You look at the side deck, 3 cards in your side deck have already been decided for you in the form of Purulia. Well, Avery, I'm not going to play both Fualos and Purulia. Okay, have fun not winning games. Like, you need to be playing fucking Mulch Armies. If you want to be at all competitive, you need Fualos and you need Purulias, some form of them in your main and or your side. Like, there are some builds that play just all 6 Mulch Armies in the side. Some play Fualos in the main. Some play, Purulia in the side. I would argue that 99% of decks are going to be playing, some number of Mulch Armies in the side. So you have to play that. Then you look at the extra deck with the Fiendsmith engine. If you're playing the Fiendsmith engine, most decks are going to be playing Sky Crisis. So that's why I have this here. Same thing with Little Knight. But if you're looking at just the Fiendsmith engine, you need this, 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 this. So let's call it 6 cards in your extra deck have already been filled. And then if you're including the 2 that 99% of decks are going to play, you're looking at 8. So technically, even though it's only a 15-card side, but technically, over half of your extra deck is already being built for you, essentially. You have less than 10 slots of extra deck cards that you can now pick from for whatever deck you want to play. And that's something that, even though this ban list was not a bunch of hits, and yes, I think it should have hit Snake Eyes more, it should have hit Bonfire to 1, it should have done some indirect hits to Malice and Rizal, should have banned Shifter and all that, it still does a very good job at taking out the other decks that we've been that we've been dealing with. Spirit Gates to 3 and Phantom of Yubel to 1. I've seen a lot of people say that's not a very good hit. That's actually an excellent hit, because now you can't use the other copies of Phantom of Yubel as link material or just to send your Yubel monsters back into the deck to reuse them later. Having it at 1 is very, very good. Banning OSS, I was calling for that on the last format's ban list that I was saying it needed to be banned. So that really does hurt Snake Eye and no longer limits level 1 Fire Monster card design. So even though those decks will still be pretty decent, some people will still play those, you're now looking at a format where you need to be playing Malice, Rizal, maybe Heroes post Supreme Darkness, even though Heroes are honestly still pretty garbage, which is a damn shame. Maybe the Primite cards will help them, but just as an example to show how good these cards are, I took an OCG list and it was a Primite Fiendsmith list. So this is the OCG Primite Fiendsmith list that I found on Yugioh Pro Deck, which is like a website that just has like a bunch of like OCG deck lists and things like that. And if you look at this deck list, what is it? It's 2 vanillas for the Primite cards. Gamma with the driver makes sense because of the Primite cards. But look at this. You're playing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Primite cards. So that's your Primite engine, right? Then you have your Fiendsmith package. And then what do you throw in besides that? Well, you've got plenty of room. Just throw in hand traps. You could even throw in more if you wanted to make it a 42 card deck. So you see what I mean here, where like you could take even a kind of a mediocre deck like this and make it good. Let me see if we can get a good hand here. 3, 4, 5. Look at that. This is crazy. You can go Barrel into Lordly Load, pause. Load can get you to, say, like White Dust On, and then you can go White Dust On into Requiem. Now, of course, since you use the Lordly Load, you can't activate the effect of the Requiem on the field. But we also opened up Lurie, so if we want to get the effect, then we can go normal summon Lurie. We can set up, either a Disarray or a Wave High King, whatever. We can hold on to the Barrel for next turn. We've got the Kyrie. We've got 2 hand traps in hand. So it ends up making even mediocre decks like this at least playable. Am I saying that like something like this is tier 1? No, absolutely not. Like the Primite engine is head and shoulders below, or I guess knees and toes in that case, below something like Rizal, where you can still do Fiendsmith lines, set up a Wave High King or a Disarray. Then you have your Rizal lines where you're setting up like a Duo Drive, a Cross, a Detonator, and whatever else, right? But it makes even, hands where it's your deck may not be the best thing in the world, it makes your hand still pretty good if you open up a couple of hand traps. Like let's say you open up here like Ash, Nib, Imperm, and let's just say Lacrima, right? Like now you've got full Fiendsmith combo, you got 3 hand traps, but you're playing a Primite engine, but like it doesn't matter because you have Fiendsmith cards. It's really, really not healthy, because now if you look at something like Rizal, right? You're spending on, the Mulch Armies. Actually, that's not even including Purulia. What am I talking about? You include Purulias, which are like 80 a piece, plus like, let's say 750 for these 6 cards right here. You're spending over $800, and you haven't even started on the Rizal core, which is going to cost you, I would say like $100 on a good day because bonfires are pretty cheap. There's a couple $10 cards. Like I think these are 10. I think like these are 10s. You're looking at like $60. So you're really, and that's not even including the extra deck. Jesus Christ. And even Chaos Angels are like $20 to $30, $22. I'm sorry, 22. Aggregators are 8s. That's another $30. I mean, we're at $1,000 at that point, are we not? Like, I mean, especially if you don't have the stuff for the side, like the crossouts. Thrusts aren't too bad, but then like talents can be kind of pricey. It adds up quick. So if you're playing anything Fiendsmith related, which I really feel like you're going to have to do so in this format to be at all competitive, you're going to have to dish out that money. And I'm sure some people are going to say, well, I'm just going to skip this format. And that's fine. You do you, Sugar Boo Bear. But I'm just saying that if you're going to something like YCS Orlando in February, or you're going to a regional or something, and you want to be as competitive as possible, assuming you've got the deck space for it, which even if you don't, you probably have to make the space for it because the Fiendsmith engine and the Mulch Armies and all that are just that fucking good, you're going to be at a massive disadvantage if you don't have this really good, grindy, recurable engine to just keep playing the game. And that's really not good. And I think that that's something that hasn't clicked with a lot of people yet. Because granted, prices can fluctuate. But as it stands right now, at the time of me making this video on the 10th of December, it's not even the new year yet. And we're looking at having to drop a lot of money for some of these best decks. Now, can you play Rizal and see success without the Fiendsmith engine? Sure. But when it comes to the most effective build possible, the one with the highest ceiling that's going to guarantee you the most amount of success, I really feel like it's going to be the Fiendsmith engine. And of course, having the 6 Mulch Armies, they're broken. They're max C1 and 2. I mean, it's how it is. But guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I have a feeling not a lot of people are going to be happy with this, but let's see if we can get any horse puking memes going again on Twitter, I guess. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.